Hi, I'm Stevie T, and today we're doing a top 10 of the heaviest bands ever. And now that is a list that is not easy to make, because everybody has a different definition of what heavy is. But to me, to be a heavy band, you have to sound heavy production-wise, and the music has to sound angry and aggressive. So I compiled this list for bands that were most commonly referenced when asked what the heaviest bands are. I looked at a ton of different lists on the internet, and of course I used my own opinion as well to put this list together. So if you don't agree with me, I'm sorry, maybe you have a different opinion, but you can make your own top 10 heaviest band list. So let's start off with number 10 heaviest band on our list. Every deathcore band ever. Now for this spot I chose every deathcore band because, well, I knew I had to incorporate deathcore bands somewhere in this list, but it wasn't very long before I made the observation that they're all exactly the same. I mean, how many times can you hear this? Okay, I know not every deathcore band is like that, but at the end of the day, no deathcore band is really heavier than the next. So here's a few for you. We got Whitechapel, Oceano,
Suicide Silence,
Chelsea Grin, Carnifex, Thy Art Is Murder, I Declare War, All Shall Perish, and many, many more. But they are heavy, so they're on the list. All of them. So let me ask you, who do you think the heaviest band in the world is?
Probably One Direction, cause like their one song has like guitar in it.
So here's the number 9 heaviest band. Sunn O, backwards bracket, backwards bracket, backwards bracket. Now, because I wanted to be very diverse in my list, I knew I had to include a doom metal band. So why did I choose them? Basically because they're the only doom metal band I know. But whenever you see lists of heavy bands, Sunn is mentioned a lot, so I had to put them on the list for sure. And I wonder why they call it doom metal. This is why they call it doom metal. This is perfect! It really is, though. And here's number 8 heaviest band in the world. Bowling for Soup. So why is Bowling for Soup on this list? Well, look at their guitarist. He's a good 500 pounds alone. The combined weight of this band easily exceeds that of the average metal band because of Pudgy McPherson. Like, he's a big guy. Now, I'm not making fun of bigger people, but he definitely makes the band heavy. And Whitechapel thinks they're heavy? Whitechapel, a combined weight of 300 pounds? You think you're heavy? You're not heavy, Scrawny McGee. You're lightcore. She's the girl all the bad guys. And here's number 7 heaviest band, Origin. These guys are heavy as balls. Like, oh my god. Probably one of the fastest bands on this list for sure. Now, of course, speed doesn't necessarily mean heavy, but they've got that too. So their music is basically just blast beats and gravity blasts and trem picking and sweep picking. Here's the number 6 heaviest band, Brain Drill. All I have to do is say the name Brain Drill, and they're instantly one of the heaviest bands in the world. And once you hear their music, you quickly find out that their name suits them well. Like, if there was one band on this list that I would have to say is just completely nuts, it would have to be Brain Drill. And here's number 5 heaviest band, Black Tongue. Like, they are so heavy. They're pretty original in the way that they seem to blend doom metal with deathcore almost. In terms of bands who use the lowest tuning, it's gotta be either Black Tongue or Meshuggah. It's kinda like doom metal with breakdowns. But I knew once I heard them, I had to put them on this list even though I had just started listening to them. Because they're probably the heaviest newer band I've heard in a long, long time. I thought I'd heard it all. And here's number 4 heaviest band in the world, Slayer. What heaviest band ever list would be complete without Slayer? I mean, honestly. Sure, nowadays there might be bands that are heavier than them, especially from a production standpoint, but agree with me or not, you just cannot deny them. Like, go back to the 80s or 90s, and they were the heaviest thing. There was no one heavier than them. These guys have been making people's ears bleed with sheer heaviness since 1981. It's like, what? 1981? Frank Sinatra was like the second heaviest band then. Kerry King was already balding. They really paved the way for thrash metal and heavy music in general. I mean, what more can I say except for Slayer? Here's our number 3 heaviest band on our list, Meshuggah. Now, Meshuggah is probably one of the most common bands that I see when people talk about heaviest bands ever. And not only that, they're the godfathers of djent. In fact, they were formed the year I was born. They're old. Yeah, they've been djenting since the 80s. I mean, they truly do have some of the most intricate patterns in the world. I don't even know how their drummer does some of these kick patterns. The guy is nutty nuts. With their down-tuned guitars and intricate patterns and just sheer technical ability makes them one of the heaviest bands in the world easily. Here's number 2 on our list, Behemoth. Now, of course, I gotta show diversity, so I had to have a black metal band in this list. And who else besides the kings of black metal? Behemoth. Now, a lot of black metal bands pride themselves on sounding evil, but their sound production is horrible. I mean, the Wiggles sound heavier than them.
Toot toot, chugga chugga, big red car.
So how can you really take them seriously as a heavy band? Just check out my How to Be Black Metal video for an example. But Behemoth is the one exception. Not only do they sound evil, but their sound production is huge and they're heavy as butts. Now, if you added a Behemoth song to an old person's playlist, it's a surefire heart attack. Now here's our number 1 heaviest band ever, Nickelback.
Look at this photograph.
Now if you want your face melted by pure evil, unadulterated heaviness, look no further than Nickelback. Tom Araya from Slayer said it best. He said, and I quote, "Nickelback is heavy as balls. They are the heaviest band ever, and they have always been my biggest inspiration, even though I will never amount to their heaviness. Their music is so heavy, they make me punch kittens in the face." Alright, metal elitists, just relax. Alright. Tom Araya did not say that, and Nickelback is not the heaviest band in the world. So here is our actual number 1 heaviest band, and it's gotta be Cannibal Corpse. Like, just look at their album covers. Like, I censored this one for your own protection. It's just gruesome and suggestive and awesome. Like, these guys were the heaviest band in the world when I was in diapers. And they'll probably still be the heaviest band in the world when I'm out of diapers. After all that windmilling, it's no wonder George Fisher's neck is bigger than his head. And their lyrics are pretty violent too. Like, every single song is like a gore-fest horror movie. And you gotta remember, for their time, that was pretty risque. Not that you'll be able to make out the lyrics anyways, because all you hear is so it is with a lot of people's opinions, and my own opinion, that Cannibal Corpse is the #1 heaviest band ever. So there you have it, the top 10 heaviest metal bands in the world. Okay, now look, I know there are a lot of bands that I missed, lots of bands that are equally deserving to be on the list, but I can't mention every single band. For example, a lot of people mentioned the band Manowar, but honestly I cannot take them seriously because they look like they're straight out of Golden Axe. And that's awesome. So, if you think there's a metal band I missed, comment below and let everyone else know. Cause we're metalheads and we need metal. So that'll be about it for today's video. And again, thank you so much for joining me in my video. Can't tell you guys how much I appreciate it. And until next time, keep it metal. Bye.
Damn kids in their Satan music.